15 minutes from the house and I can't go home. But I might be able to do some frog hunting. I got a little booger down here I'm trying to sneak up on. Be very quiet. I'm hunting frogs. Well, he was in here earlier. I'll be the first one to admit that sometimes getting home, the way you have to do that is completely not ideal. But if you learn the rhythm and learn the game and leave it a little open, you can usually make something work out pretty good. The first thing is communication. Now I know what you're thinking. You're 10 minutes away from the house. Why don't you just go home? Well, first of all, I don't want to crank my air conditioner on. Electricity has gotten very expensive. But two, I got to be up here really early tomorrow to unload. There's no point in bobtailing home, coming back, and then I got one more stop on the other side of town. But then I go home for a few days. And truthfully, nobody's at the house. And there's no real point in me going home. So, anyhow, about the communication part. Have an idea, have a plan. The problem that I keep running into is guys want dispatch basically to be a personal taxi service, failing to realize these guys are dispatching 100 other people other than you. And it's a hard lesson to learn. I've had to learn it myself. But I've learned a few tips and tricks. I understand that a lot of times you just have to keep it loose, or you got certain appointments and things of that nature. You need to put them out. You can't put them out too far, but you need to put them out far enough to where you can actually work with them. And don't get mad if you get home a day or two early. They're going to get you home when they can, when it's convenient for them. These people are running a business. And this is the least ideal job in the world. You just can't have everything your way all the time. This actually worked out for me this time, so I was really happy about that. Now, unless you've worked your way into something pretty cool, you just got to be out to make money. The days of being home every week, and unless you're on something good and dedicated, the days of being home every week, running 3,000 miles and coming home every Friday night and leaving Monday morning, those are just pipe dreams anymore. Yeah, here's the thing. That can happen, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of planning, and sometimes you just have to be your own dispatcher. You've got to have your own authority, and you've got to work your way into something, which takes years to work your way into. And that is what people forget. These things take time. Well, I'll be glad to get that fixed. Waiting on the loaner hood right now. That just irritates me. So as you see, I'm just backed into the receiver here. Not bad. I can sleep right here, which makes it nice. So when you're getting home, like I said, being home on every weekend like it used to be, it's pretty much a pipe dream. But if you start planning ahead about a week or two ahead, it's pretty good. You have to be flexible. There's just no way around it. These people do not have time. Even on the small companies, they don't have time to cater to everything you want. And that's kind of a hard pill to swallow at times, because you know what loads are there, or what loads you think are there. Now, I've been proven wrong a few times that a lot of these loads I thought were pretty regular weren't as regular as I thought. I just happened to get lucky and get them. But, you know, when you get in this business a while like I've been, you learn that flexibility is going to get you a lot further than being demanding. When you're demanding, a lot of times these people will give you what you want. Very rarely, it turns out, is it what you actually want. You just have to be flexible. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I go home for between 4 days and a week, once a month. Like, well, how do you do that? That's a long time. Well, I own the truck. But I also am very flexible about my home time. Unless I have something specific I need to get done, which happens maybe once a year, I end up telling, get me home towards the end of the week. And when you do things like that, it tends to make things just a little easier on your dispatch. They tend to start learning what you like. And truthfully, like this week, I could have got a load home a couple days earlier, but I was like, you know what? Let's do one more round. I had another week. I had a restart, so why not? I did another round, and truthfully, it worked out. So I was flexible, and it worked out. It doesn't always work out like that. And I understand that most of you guys have kids and families and things of that nature. But here's the thing, like the old timer told me years ago, if you're going to be in this business a long time, you're just going to have to get used to missing things. And getting home like I get home, this doesn't happen overnight. This took me years to get to this point. But I'm at a good point. But it didn't happen in the first, 15 years. I put in a lot of time. I paid my dues, and things are starting to work out. So a lot of times getting home involves doing stupid things like this, like sleeping. Literally, I'm 17 miles from the house, actually. Yeah, about 17 miles. I could have gone home. I would have had to get up in about 9 hours. I would have had to turn the AC on. Oh, excuse me. And truthfully, I live by myself. There really was no point in going home. I got a diner right over here I can grab a bite to eat at and have an adult beverage. And I just sleep, They're not going to be in here till 7 in the morning. This is going to be 11, 12 hours from now. So there's really no point in going home. Now, if you had kids and stuff like that, I can see that. You're rushing home and going and seeing them. But where I'm at, no, not really. So when you're dealing with dispatch, you just have to be ready for the unexciting. Sometimes you need to go home, but you don't need to go home right now. And that's a hard line, because sometimes they'll try to send you home immediately, and you're like, wait, I don't need to be home for like another week and a half. And they're like, well, this is what we got. I'm like, there's been times I've told them, I was like, you know what? I'm a gambling man. Let's see what happens tomorrow. And sure enough, things have worked out. But you have to be kind of a gambling man or woman, person, whatever you want to call yourself these days. Dog. Yeah, Facebook's been a treasure trove for this. You just have to be willing to do a couple things you don't like. Truthfully, if they had said, we don't have anything right now, but if you want to run out from Sioux Falls to Baraboo and back and be back tomorrow, we should have something popping over the weekend. I would have been like, bonus. I make another $1,500 and I'm home a day later. So sometimes that's what you have to do, because in this business, in reality, it's all about the money. And this is the problem. So how is money a problem? It's not. It's not. We all want it. We all need it. We trade money for goods and services. That's how money works. But I keep running into guys over and over and over that just want it both ways. They want all the time off they need when they want it, but they also want, when it's time for them to run, they want to be slammed. They want the miles. They want this, that, and the other thing. And it doesn't work that way. Like I said, this dispatcher isn't just dispatching you. I remember years ago talking to a guy who was leasing a truck, and he was going to this place that was about 3 hours from his house, and he's like, I want them to get me a load here. There's this other place that was closer to his house. And I said, what time you deliver? He told me. I was like, dude, when you're done, just go home. Well, I don't want to bobtail that far. I don't want to deadhead that far. That's part of the business. I said, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to sit around all day, and they're going to end up just sending you home 2, 3 o'clock. Didn't listen to me. Screwed around all day, waited, and about 2, 3 o'clock he calls me up just mad. Those SOBs are just sending me home. It's like, I say, if you would have listened to me, you would have been home 4.5, 5 hours ago. I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, I've played this game long enough to know the signs and of when these things happen. But understanding the game and playing the game are two separate things. So when it's time for you to go home, you got to start laying the groundwork a week or two in advance. Don't be rigid. You're going to have to leave it loose. Truthfully, part of the reason why I'm home during the week a lot is I have, well, that's an airplane. I have a lot of things that go on during the week, and I need to be home at the end of the month for bills and whatnot. So it works for me. You know, your time to be home might be in the middle of the month, you know. And staying out is one of those things that's been real contentious to people. I'm going to tell you my thoughts on staying out. Being in this business, we just have to go where the money is. No ifs, ands, or buts. We have to go where the money is. Weirdos. And the money just isn't everywhere anymore. Especially when you're working percentage like me. If I was working mileage, I wouldn't give a crap. I would be like miles, 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 miles. I work percentage. So basically, I ran 109,000 miles last year and averaged over 240 a mile. Work smarter, not harder. Take the good freight. You know. So, and I took 107 days off. Well, I did buy the truck, and that was like a month and a half off. But even that didn't happen overnight. So being gone is one of those double-edged swords. You're going to make more money. With the right company, you'll make great money. With the wrong company, you'll just sit over here like you sat over there. And I didn't get to this company overnight. It took years. And the company that I was with, the last company, that's the one I thought I was going to retire from. I was dreadfully wrong. But unless you've locked yourself into something pretty solid, or a good dedicated that gets you what you want, or something that's just out and back and gives you those 2-3 days off you want. As truck drivers anymore, that's just almost a pipe dream. And it's sad. But what I've realized about being out is, you know, the first week, if you don't hit the first week hard, you don't make any money the first week. You make good money. But if you can hit that first week solid, that's why I come out on the weekends, like on Sundays. If you can hit that first week hard and just keep boom, 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 that week's going to be good, and the next week's going to be good. But after about 2.5, 3 weeks, you peak, and then you flatline. And truthfully, I've realized if you're going to flatline, you might as well flatline at home. in your own bed with your own shower and your washing machine because you need to do laundry. I noticed when I used to stay out 4, 5, and 6 weeks, I wasn't making any more money than I'm making now. You don't. If you're going to sit around, you might as well sit around at your house. Why not? But being out, it's kind of where the money's at right now. And being willing to do things that the other guys aren't willing to do, that's due. And truthfully, we're out here to make money. And I understand home time's important. But there's a lot of these inconvenient things that you just have to get used to until you figure out, or until you fall into a good routine, or you get the right job, or, you know, things happen to where you can do these things that you want to do, you know, see your kids at ball games and go to parent-teacher nights at schools and things like that, and do the things that are important. These are important things, and we all have to make a living. But this is something that you're going to have to work into. And job hopping over and over and over and over and over again isn't going to do it. But, you know, you will have to change jobs. And if you're going to be home a lot more, then a lot of times you are going to have to take a pay cut. But if you get with a good company that runs all over the road, a lot of times they will be able to get you back when you need to be back. But you have to give them the heads up. Basically plan a week, week and a half. When you're coming out of the house, within that first week, you need to start having an idea of when you're going to be home. I know this sounds like I've been rambling, and I have been. I had a great dinner and an adult beverage. Here's the thing. It's not personal. These dispatchers out here, they're dealing with 100 of you a day, and they don't have time to personally cater to every one of your needs. That was a lesson I had to learn the hard way, because I was of the opinion that, yeah, I'm out here, you got to deal with me. And reality, they do, but at the same time, all they could do is all they could do. It's getting late. It's almost dusk. So when all you can do is all you can do, you just have to work with what you got. And truthfully, even if it doesn't seem like there's much out there, there's a whole lot more there than you think. And there's a whole lot more to work with. And that's what I've been babbling on about. You've got to get to the point where you can recognize what there is to work with. And when you recognize that, your time on the road is going to be a lot more enjoyable. And your home time is going to be a lot more steady. That's what I'm getting at, guys. There's communication. There's working with these people. And understanding that you're not their only driver. But if you learn how to take certain loads and get yourself positioned, and you figure out what works, you start figuring out when the good loads come out. You start figuring things out. Now, don't get me wrong, freight changes. Loads change. And the freight market is fluid. But that being said, when you start figuring a lot of these things out, don't demand them. Talk to your dispatcher. Say, hey, is this load coming out? I would kind of like it. Well, it's not coming out till tomorrow. I can do a break. You know, or you know what? That'll help me get my restart in. Always look for the positive, and always look how it's going to benefit you. Because if you can take what they give you and work with it, and it benefits everybody. I'm not talking about being altruistic. There's a lot of loads that I won't take because they may benefit the company, but they don't benefit me. If it's mutual all the way around, it's mutual. And figure out how to make that work for you. Trust me, there's a lot of loads I do that I don't like, but I'll tell you what, a lot of them do lead to some pretty good outcomes. And that's what we're after. We're here to make money, you know, so the outcome is what we're after. So even if you get a load that kind of blows a little bit, but you know it's going to some place that doesn't, it's not a bad thing. Stop looking at the short term and start looking at the long term, and I guarantee you, you're going to be a whole lot further. So I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. A little short video. We'll see you kids later.